Life. Randy Jackson is here. Randy, look, tell me why you took on this cause, why you decided you wanted to help a little treasure, and get beyond, look, I'm driving back home, and I stop, and I see the story, and I moved. And tell me why you took this gesture, because a lot of people saw the story, and how this fits into the family's humanitarian mission.
Well, first, let me thank you for allowing me to be here. It's a pleasure meeting you.
It's good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw her story on the news, it penetrated my heart when she said that to her mom she was afraid she was going to die. And she has a paper pinned up on her wall in her room that says "Still alive." And I said, I have to do what I can to help this little girl. Something that we've always done, something, of course, that my brother did on all of his career, and something that we stand for, on just continuing what we do.
Yes. Will you be moving forward with more efforts like this? Will the family continue to pick up this torch and run with it?
Yes. We've spent a lot of our careers giving back. We've had a lot of success. God has been good to us. But I think there's another calling. And I've been discussing this with my brothers to get more involved with philanthropic charitable work.
Here's the amazing thing. You decide you want to help Treasure, which in essence is helping her doctors save her life.
Sure.
Dr. Conrad Murray, in essence, when you cut through all of it, is charged with not doing enough to protect and even save your brother's life. So where do things stand in the investigation? What do you think of how the investigation is progressing at this point?
Well, let me say that I have a great deal of faith in the judicial system, as well as the LAPD, and of course the deputy DA. I just think that I wish they would have taken Murray's license away. I wish that. But there's a lot of unanswered questions around Murray. I think he's changed his story a lot of times. And now he's talking about maybe my brother did it himself, which turns my stomach. But I think this goes beyond Murray even. I think Murray has a part in it, but I don't think he was acting alone.
You don't think he was acting alone?
I don't.
You care to elaborate on that?
Without saying too much, I started to question some of the people who were around my brother. And when you look at the environment around my brother leading up to his death, there's a lot of strange coincidences. He was very afraid for his life. He was threatened that his children would be taken away from him. He was threatened that his assets would be taken from him. He was threatened that they would take his home if he didn't do what was asked of him by the powers that be. Let's just say that.
I certainly want to explore that a bit more, but let's isolate one moment in that. What do you believe was Conrad Murray's role in Michael's death?
There are a lot of things that aren't quite clear about whether what he did, because he changes his story constantly. Now he's saying, well, one time he was saying my brother did it to himself, and I thought that was crazy. Now he's saying that maybe he did a little bit, and he wasn't the only one, somebody else did this to him. I think Murray does play a part in it. I think he does know more. I don't think he's telling the full truth. I think that will come out in the investigation.
Okay. Do you think he should be facing an enhanced charge beyond involuntary manslaughter?
Absolutely.
What would be appropriate in your mind?
Well, first of all, just because even the fact that they allowed him to continue practicing. I mean, he's accused of
involuntary manslaughter.
Involuntary manslaughter with propofol, and to allow him to continue with this practice, I think is really not okay. And as the investigation unfolds, there'll be more that will come out.
Okay. Second-degree murder? Would that feel more appropriate to you?
First-degree murder would be appropriate. Yes.
You also have some questions in your mind about the heavily contested will. Michael Jackson's will, don't we?
Yes. I questioned the authenticity of the will when my family questions the authenticity of the will. I can't speak too in depth about it, but let me go back.
Sure.
When my brother passed, we were all shocked, torn, just besides ourselves. It was a difficult time for my family. Before we could even begin to grieve, everything was sort of rushed on. There was these lawyers and accountants pushing these papers on us, people showing up, faces that I knew that my brother didn't care for, people he wouldn't even let in his home, pushing these documents, one of which was his will. And I don't think the will was even complete. I was at the Staples Center preparing for the memorial, and I was talking to my sisters on the phone, Janet, auditorium meeting, and they were telling me what's going on. And I was shocked that it was almost like there was this big plan in place that we didn't know about. And there was a plan, but what they were pushing on us was very sloppy.
Yeah.
My brother, I can say this much. My brother, he took pride in being a father. He loved his children. He would never misspell his own children's name, nor would he allow the misspelling of his children's name to appear on a document so important to their lives. That's one of the things I will say that's wrong with his will, as there are many other things that will come out in the investigation.
Okay, let's take a quick break and come back with more with Randy Jackson. You're in the CNN Newsroom. My special guest in the CNN Newsroom this hour, Michael Jackson's baby brother, Randy. His first interview since the tragedy almost a year ago. When you think of your brother these days, in the days since his death, where do your thoughts take you?
I try to remember my brother. Let me tell you who my brother was. He was a great artist, great performer, dedicated to his career. Maybe the best that's ever stepped on stage. A warrior at setting goals and accomplishing them. But more important, he was a great parent, a great son, a fun, loving, jokester, crazy brother, hard-headed, but fun. A man that dedicated his life and doing his part to improve the life of others. That's who he was.
How will the family mark the anniversary in just a couple weeks?
It's a difficult month for me, a difficult month for my family. It's still in the planning stages, but we are going to have a memorial at Forest Lawn. I want to thank Forest Lawn. They've been wonderful. Thank the city of Glendale. We're going to have a memorial at Forest Lawn. We're expecting a large turnout of friends and fans. So I want to make it so that everybody can pay their respects. There will be a gathering afterward. Right now, the fans can go beyond the gates of Forest Lawn and place their flowers above. And so that'll be good for them. I think the family's going to get together in the early part of the day, maybe the fans in the latter part of the day. And after we have a kind of a small intimate gathering.
What's next? I know it's kind of a cliche question, but I need to ask it because the family goes on. So what's next for this family? Individually and collectively, what's next?
You know, when you lose a brother or a son, it's something that no one, of course, you never expect that. And there's a grieving period. I know, for a year I've not wanted to do anything. But now I think that we've been talking, and we're going to continue with what he would want us to do, as well as what we've always done. My brothers, we're going to get involved with more philanthropic charity work. We are forming a foundation that's yet to be named, There are some organizations out there, but it's not us. We have yet to name this. We've taken on some help from WME, Lance Klein, R. Emanuel, and Darnell Sutton, my brother.
Right, that's William Morris Endeavor. Okay, so that's, will the family come together? I've got to ask this for everyone at home watching this. Will the family come together and perform again in a tour?
Of course, that's in our blood. That is what God wants us to do. God has been good to this family, and that is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to continue with God's work, so that's what we're going to do.
Randy, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
And let's talk again soon.
You got it, Randy.
All right, we're back in a moment.